and thank you so much for joining and waiting for the session. So we are a little bit like sorry for the delay, little bit like the final moment, like webinar having some issues and some audio issues. We couldn't start at the on time actually. Thanks for waiting and your patience. Here today, like what we are going through this like the Splunk technology and how it is going to help in IT operations and IT field, and learning the skill. So how we are going to get benefited, and finally, like we'll be seeing some little bit demo on that, like some basic searches how we are doing and performing in the real-time activity. So how people are doing that one, and finally, like so I'll be going through the course details. So what are the courses, like what are the topics are in the Splunk development admin course, what are the topics we are covering, and just so we'll be briefly like what are the topics we are covering. So I'll be showing to you. So any questions, like anytime, just stop me and ask your questions. I'll try to answer my best. So Splunk, the company started around 2006, basically 2006, and I think California they started, and with very small numbers. And currently they are like one of the like Fortune 92, the Fortune 100 companies. They are in the 92. It's a Fortune company actually. And initially they started with very few employees, and their employee strength is now 5,000 plus worldwide, and they are around more than like 120 countries now, more than 120 countries. Their presence now, they are slowly started. Initially they started with one place, and now they are become like their presence has become now more than 100 countries now. So why actually like this Splunk is required, and why the Splunk tool has emerged? So in our basic IT operations, like basically like we are doing like regular day-to-day, whenever like some issues are coming. So we used to like the ticket will be raised and some other team will be assigned. Then other team will be like the someone team assigned. They will be started looking at the problem. So whenever like the customer may be calling and the ticket will be raised, sometimes like online like website itself like on automatically like tickets may be raised. So whenever like this is like after the incident happened, then only it is like reactive things, or like that's what like the current IT operation is handling. So this is like more proactive or something. So we need some tool or something. So we need to analyze and get like, okay, this is the issue is happening in the system. And before happening itself, like we have to identify before the user is getting reported, okay, this issue is happening. So we should be like IT industry, like our IT people, we should be aware, okay, this issue is happening back end. So we have to fix it before the user complains about it. So basically, like, so it's a like our currently we are doing the reactive thing, but so we want to make it as a proactive thing. So we need some specific tool, we need that. So for that only, like when that area only, the Splunk coming into picture. So in our current IT industry, over 80% of the time of like we are just maintaining our applications, and we are making sure the application is up and running, and any issues are coming, we are solving it. But we are not like mostly we are not doing any innovation stuff or anything like that. We are doing little bit, but not very efficiently. So most of the time we are like spending our time in the maintaining our system. This is one slide, like we can see like our current setup, what we are doing, like so we are getting the machine data, raw data, and collecting, like we'll be using some collecting tools, whatever tools will be like maybe the current setup, whatever we are like databases or some other place, some other tools maybe we may be using to filter the data. Separate team will be there to filter this data, and once the data is getting filtered and stored, actually the raw data are getting stored, then it will go to the analysis part. That for that there will be like a separate team will be there, analysis team will be there. So they will be doing some transformation of the data using the ELT tools or some other tools. So they will be doing some transformation of the raw data into some other like meaningful format. The other team will be doing that, and finally like that is another team. So finally like the management team, or like finally like event or impact management or event management teams, so whoever team, that is another team, they'll be again going through that data, and finally like we'll be getting some visibility like on that whatever the data is coming in. So if you see here, there are three level of processes we are doing: collection, parts, and analysis. Then finally the management is like come to, they have to do them searches or some other things they have to do to get some kind of input. So they then only like we'll be acting on that. Some alerts will be generated. Finally, the alerts will be generated or something like that. So once the alert is getting generated, so then is the next step is like the people will be, once alert is generated, like people will be informed. So and then we have to work on the alert. What is that analysis? So the again next like the production support team or any other team will be involved. So they form some war room or something. They open war room to analyze what is the issue or something. What kind of ticket is it? So they will analyze everything, and then we have to finalize or fix the issue. Basically, they will fix the issue. So what like industry like so this kind of situation, that earlier situation, what happens is, so every process takes its own time. Every process it takes its own time, and when it reaches to the final point, there will be like so much of delay. There will be so much of delay or lag in their process. So by that time, what happens? There is like it may be the delay may be in minutes or hours or days or whatever, we don't know. So finally, the resolution happening. So that is separate time. So during that period, so what happens like the customer losing the enormous amount of business. So they lost layer credibility to the in the like people like, say if it is a service based or some other banks or some other industries like transport industry or like any other logistic industry, anything. So these kind of issues are happening. So they lose huge amount of business, and people also lost the interest on their application or lost the interest on their business. So they lose basically like finally like because of they don't have the proper tools, they lose their business. Basically the ultimate, they lose their business, and the revenue will be coming down. So what industry is like to avoid these things, what industry wants to about it? So basically like reduce the tool complexity and the cost. So basically the multiple tools they do not want to use. So they want like at least uh, the magic should be happen using one tool. So particular tool they want to use, and that tool will resolve. They are hoping they hope that tool will resolve all their issues. So basically that if you use one tool, that definitely that is like only one tool if you are using, that will make it as only one platform, and very less number of admins are required for monitoring, troubleshooting, and operational visibility. That is really good. Become more proactive. So that is another thing that every industry wants, that proactively instead of reactive nature. To because to reactive nature is not good. So they want any company, they want the proactive. So before the problem comes, at least like we should be ready to handle that issue, and if possible close the issue before it happens also. So for that like we need some data tools to instantly analyze and correlate the raw data, and some machine learning capacity or capability is required. Next point, I want like efficient use of people, resources, and lean. So efficient use of like if we have the right tools, and we have enough information, so the accurate like so we can the finding the root cause will be very easy, and the people will be like it will be like very easy to understand and find the root cause, and that will like it is we can it's that will we are efficiently like that will make use of the people who are in the support team or something. So we can utilize that in them, and that will really reduce the escalations and high level escalations, and finally like eliminating the creating the war rooms and spending hours and hours or day nights in fixing the issues. And final point, like already I told you, like reduce the negative business impact. So it's a visibility across all functional areas shared by everyone. Basically like finally the main important thing is the reduce the negative business impact, and not only the business like negative impact, and it the revenue wise, there's a bigger issue. So all stakeholders, shareholders, everybody will be like questioning the company and everything. It's going to be the small issues or everything like that will affect till the bottom to top. So everyone will be affected. So this is what like so basically they need some solution to avoid these time issues actually. So here we are like so one of the thing is like one of the tool is like a Splunk approach. So how we are going to process. So here in this panel itself, you can see like so there is no separate teams are like gathering the data, analyzing, then filtering. So those filtering, analyzing, and finally it comes to. So those things are not needed.
Hey,
So there is a one.
Shiva, this is Pawan. Can I interrupt you for a second, if you don't mind, or you want me to wait until this?
No problem, Pawan. Yeah, ask me your question, please. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because I'm trying to correlate with the real time going on. I worked at different places. I mean, people are talking about the Splunk so much now, but I worked on like two different things similar to this, but it's not that much efficient. One, we did Log4j. Under the Log4j, it provides the GUI, so where you load all the logs because the logs were written with the Log4j standard. So there you can do all sort of things. What you can, what you want, what you want to sort out, what you want to see, errors, warnings, all that stuff. And right now we are using another way. We have the same thing. It's a Log4j thing, but we are not using the Log4j tool to monitor. We have the HP monitoring system where it keeps monitoring the logs and it generates the alerts. So my question is, how much beneficial or advantage using the Splunk over these two? Because we have the another tool also called Kibana. Now that is also widely used in the market, because even Kibana also does the same thing. You just provide the log file locations with different formats. You configure there. It will take care of for those things. So how much advantage over these existing tools which are already used in the organizations compared with Splunk?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a good question. So definitely like because I know about Kibana, I don't know about the Kibana, but Log4j like I know about that because this is one of the competitor for the Splunk actually. The full I didn't work on exactly the what are the features are available, but it's one of the competitor tool for Splunk actually, Log4j. The thing is like
the reason I'm saying is the companies, right, which they already invested and they're already using for such a long time. Now, if you come back and say that, hey, introduce Splunk, because everything involves with the money.
Correct.
Money. Now with the Log4j, it's a different approach. We don't have something like this server client based model, but Kibana, it looks similar to it. And
so like I have one question. So I because yeah,
sorry,
that's correct. Yeah, so I got your question. So what's your point? Why we need the Splunk instead of already some tools other? Why we are looking for this one, right? So basically Log4j, like I want to understand Log4j, like here like some capabilities are like so same thing like log files. So any system can be like you name it anywhere like systems are coming like any kind of log file, any kind of metrics files, anything we can load it actually. So it's doing some analytical purpose also. It does the analyticals. It can forecast. This tool can forecast actually. Splunk can forecast, and very visual appealing dashboards can be created very quick. And I'm not sure like Log4j can like it's only for the alerts you do, or you do the like any kind of
no, Log4j
dashboards
is
and all you do any kind of things you do that one also.
No, we use the Log4j to create the logs, but we are using the HP monitoring system which does the alerts.
So like it will create the dashboards, you create dashboards, everything, various parameters.
Yes. HP monitoring system, they have a huge thing. They have like so much it provides. It reads all the logs, and once you open it on the dashboard, it will give you the graph, the number of count, alerts, all that stuff. Like it is so huge. It is a HP monitoring tool, but I think it is a little bit expensive. That's why now they are inclining towards Kibana. Even Kibana also is a GUI-based, the server-based model. So you feed the log station, it does the rest of the stuff.
But you said initially like a log4j, but now you get rid of the log4j and using only HP monitoring.
No, in the log in the olden days, we were using the log4j to create the logs, and log4j itself giving the tool to mine the log data, where you can, because it's all a text format, right? Binary or text format. But to view properly, I mean, let us say if you want to see on particular date on this particular, I'm looking for this particular event, like order value is greater than $10,000, right? If you go and view with the naked eye, it's very difficult to, because you will have hundreds, thousands of rows in the file system. But
that is it.
Log4j will give some flexibility, but it's not like that much dynamic. So, but still we are using the log4j to create the logs, but at the same time, we were using the HP monitoring system as well as the Kibana, so where it does more advanced way to provide the alerts that whatever you are saying to reduce the monitoring time and respond back to the issues.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, like
already like you're saying same thing like.
Yeah, just wanted to
Go ahead,
interrupt. Like, yeah, I wanted to, like, we are here for like first to have the demo of the tool. So because we are also not aware, so let's like take up the questions later. First, we can at least have a good demo and understanding of the tool first, because like there are people who are not even aware of Splunk and all those things. Then we can have the question and answer session at the last. That would be my suggestion, because like the main purpose is like to have the demo and like the understanding of the tool. So like we'll be like otherwise like it's your call.
So Pawan, is it okay? So we'll yeah, that is also good actually. So first we can finish that one.
No, when I asked the question, I asked the same thing. Like, do you want me to wait, hold on?
That's okay. No, I thought like okay, we thought like okay, but the other audience also I didn't think of that. So that is a good thing. So good point. Like so we can keep it at the end, because once we see that, so people like not seeing the screen and all. So now. Because they don't know like what we are discussing, so at least we'll finish this one like after finishing the demo. Then I think like that would be better. Like we can have the discussion definitely.
Sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm good.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah. Thanks, guys. So this is like so this is one tool like that will eliminate the other like the basically like multiple layers of people analyzing the log files or whatever the collection of data. So that will eliminate. This is like eliminating. So single tool. So that will only one process that will collect. So it will like it will process it. It will do the analysis, anything, everything. It will do that. So according to needs, like we can create the dashboards or queries or anything like that. So we can create it. Finally, we can like so we have to set it up. So because we have to set it up for the alerts or whatever the things we want. But there is only one team is needed. So not the multiple teams or anything. So only one team can look at the data and whatever the filtration, what they can do, whatever analysis they can do, whatever the transformation they can do. So anything, whatever the way they want. So finally, the output will be shown. So there's a single point of a single tool actually. So one tool. So basically, like this is the like so nowadays like the machine data, so machine data or big data, so everything the volume will be very high. This is like one of the industry leading some main platform for like analyzing the machine data. So machine data is apart from like analyzing the machine data, it will put like adding the additional intelligence, so that like the team, like the finally like the management team or the whoever the delivery team or the support team, anybody like whatever the input they wanted, so they will be getting the full they will be getting like full idea like what's going on with the system. So they will get the full idea what is happening. And this is comes with like two kind of flavors. One is the enterprise one, so we can install the software in our own in-house thing, and next one is the cloud side. So we can go for like we do not use, so you guys suppose the organizations don't have that much facility to incorporate or running this server, Splunk installation or Splunk servers, so they can go for the cloud side also. But we are not covering the cloud, what is those things and all, but only we are covering the enterprise side. So in those things, or how the set up those things and all, we are covering that one. And the another thing is so if you go with the cloud, then automatically that scalability is automatically that comes in scalability automatic. So whenever the data size is getting growing, so automatically that will be like taken into account. So even in the in-house also, you should be add like depending on the license, whatever the license cost and whatever the storage capacity you have. So with that, like increasing the scalability is not a problem. So today you have only 1 GB of log file or something it's generating, but later future point, like your log files are like you are adding more applications, more log is getting generated. That's not a problem. So we can increase the scalability automatically, like we can get the more license, buying additional license, and we can get it actually. What are the things like advantages like this is like using the Splunk actually? So what are the things we can, suppose we are using any kind of databases or any other system to be set it up, so we have to like set it up with a particular schema we have to create, particular tables we have to create. So what are the, we have to worry about the indexes and how we are going to operate. So no one is so no, we no need to worry about those things and all here. So anything, just get the data, raw log file, and it will do the indexing automatically, indexing and automatically. And there is no specific RDBus getting used here. It's getting just the log data, it's do its process, and it will get stored in the indexing. It will, the pro indexing will do, and the data will be stored in the indexing buckets actually. So indexer buckets, it will be getting stored. And then we have to like then we need to do the search on the data whatever getting indexed, right? So that we have to, user has to search on the indexing. You guys having any questions on this one, this panel? So okay, so next we'll go that. So basically again like so reactive, we are like going from the reactive mode to the proactive mode. Basically like search and investigate. So basically like once we have this kind of tool in our place, so we have to basically we have to like one thing is like creating the required search and investigations and creating required dashboard panels or something, so that like it will display the what is happening in the real time, so we can see the things in the real time actually, everything, anything. So we can, because it's not like the log is getting generated only like it will get loaded into the system next day and we'll be seeing the results. No, so whenever the log, any new entries are getting added, immediately that will be transferred and immediately that will be processed by the system, and immediately like if you depends on the what kind of activity happened, you can set it up alerts or you can see it in the dashboard, anything like you can see okay this is what it's happening. So it is like more visibility, like nowadays like management, top management, they want to see, they want to come and see in the first day, every day morning, they want to see very very clearly like what's happened till yesterday or the till morning, like in the night time or whatever. So they want to see basically like how the like how many incidents are happening, how many like tickets generated or something, so how many like, or how many, they want to see some kind of these kind of server details also they can see. Another aspect management want to see, okay how many products are like, how many users are signed in, how many products were getting sold, and how many like how many people struggled in buying some things or any errors are happened, so how many revenue generated. So everything we can keep it in a nice dashboard, clear, very nice clear dashboard with the graphs and everything, so that they get the very good visibility what's going on in our their enterprise. So that's the main thing. And it depends on that dashboards, they take the decisions real time, like business insight they get, okay this product is doing good, so what should we do about that, so increase the capacity or something. So whatever like they do their real time, so business like decisions, so based on the data, because everything in the real time they can see like yesterday or day, month wise or whatever, like till we can up to some whatever the extent they want to see they can see. So based on that they take some decisions. So that is called a proactive. Basically, that is a proactive. So by seeing the dashboard and what seeing the data, they can decide, okay, so increase the like capacity or decrease the capacity, or check this particular feature or something, why it is more errors are coming. So something like that. So they can, based on that results, they act like proactive. And operational intelligence troubleshooting. reducing MMTR. MMTR is nothing but mean time to repair. This is a basic measure of the maintainability of the repairable items. It represents the average time required to repair a failed component or a device, basically. So mean time to repair. So this is like these are the some of the things they use, like reduce the MMTR, like repair time. They should reduce the repair time, improve the end user experience, reduce the cost, greater IT productivity. These are the like these are the some of the metrics or key metrics they want, actually the key metrics they used to have in the any kind of industries. So no more gripping through the logs. This is one of the slide, just like to get that details or finding any analysis to do that. Earlier we do the logs, like they do the grep command to go through the logs and filter the logs and getting the values. So no need to do these things. So we are like getting more sophisticated tool we have. So with the using that tool, so no need to use these kind of commands. So monitoring. So next one is how it is helpful, like so monitoring how this is going to help us actually. So this is what one thing is like basically like find and fix a problem before it becomes a problem. So I can tell you one scenario for that, like monitoring and how this tool will be helpful in real-time scenario. For example, like I am trying to go and purchase a product. So I'm searching I have logged in the system. So I'm searching for the product. So I'm satisfied with I'm browsing couple of products. So I'm finally like I'm made up my mind, and I selected one product and adding that particular product into cart, everything, and finally then I finally like I'm trying to buy it. So that time, like what happens is it should take me to the payment page where I have to give my debit card or credit card. So I'm like instead of going to that page, what I am getting is after clicking on the buying the system, so next it's going to like it's going like not found error or something. It's not going to, for example I'm saying, so it's not going into that particular payment page. Instead it's I'm getting some throwing, the system is throwing some error. Okay, what I'm doing, okay, as a user, what I'm thinking, okay, I'm refreshing my system. So again, like one more time going back to the screen, and again I'm trying to click that, I'm trying to buy one more time. So again I'm getting the message. Maybe I'm trying a couple of times, okay, then I fed up. So just what I will do is like okay, so get the hell out of it, like that. So I'll close the system or go to the, I close that session, and maybe I'll go to the another company. Maybe I'll go to the another company and another page, and maybe I will be looking for the same product. I will buy from that system. So what happens here is like these kind of issues. So in real time environment, what happens is, so these kind of issues will be happening in the evening time or night time, for example. So these will be that errors will be popped up in the loggings, in the logs will be there, the log will be there, or some maybe like some emails may be generated, or some maybe some errors may be generated, I don't know, like but these errors may not be like severity will not be generated. Some logs or failures will be there, failure reports may be there. So when you go to the office next time, so you will be receiving this kind of error report. These finally like a couple of errors are happened in the finally buying page or something like that. So you will be, what you will be doing is like so you will be going through that. So you will raise a ticket, you will check that one, you will raise a ticket, people will raise a ticket and look into the system. So then you like it will go to the another team. So that team will be like actively they will check it out, and they finally they transfer to the development team or Recure team. They will be going to, and they will putting into that. Then they will be analyzing, and okay, there may be some links or broken links or something, they will fix it. So instead of these many things are happening, like it will take around like maybe like you will be losing around 5 hours or 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours also to fix that particular issue. And most of the times the companies may not be aware of these things also, may not be aware of this error also. Sometimes they may not be aware at all, may not be aware at all, because these kind of things maybe the application not handled properly. For example, not handling properly, they are not applicable, like organizations may not be aware these kind of issues are happening. So unless some user is calling you guys or calling the company or something, hey, I'm trying to buy this product, but it's keep on this error is happening, or they sometimes they contact the support email they may be sending, hey, this is the error is happening. So while I'm trying to purchase, can you please look at it? Something like so. So those kind of things also happens. But when we have this kind of monitoring system, so that time like this log will be read by the Splunk in real time. So we can set it up any kind of errors alert system. We can set it up these kind of 551 or 5 page not found 404 or some what kind of errors, something anything we can set it up some kind of system. So that will these kind of issues like immediately that alerts will be popped up, and it will go to the directly wherever the support team or anything. So these alerts can be generated, and it can be sent it to the respective persons. Because this is only happens in the log, it's not a very major server error or something. So major server down or something means that automatically teams will be called in. But these are small errors, so may not be trapped, but the logs will be anyway somehow that these logs will be coming. But Splunk kind of tools will be this kind of the Splunk will be come into picture these kind of situations. So the alert can be set up for thing, and notification can be sent immediately, and they will be look at it. And at least we will be losing maybe until maybe we alerted, and within 1 hour 2 hours we can fix it this issue. Instead of losing hundreds of customers, we might have lost only the 5 to 10 customers or 20 customers business. So that is very important, these situations. This is one of the scenario for the monitoring purpose. So how this is different than other things. So this is universal machine data platform. So basically it capture, retain, correlate, analyze all kind of data. And as I said already, this is a real-time architecture from proactive monitoring to the correlation and operative analysis. Fast time to value. So index the data once for multiple users. So only one time we'll be loading the log data. So that can be used for the capacity planning, help desk support, security, troubleshooting, audit, SLA reporting, so change tracking. So that's whatever purpose you want to use it. So you can name it anything. So you can do monitoring also, anything, troubleshooting purpose, anything only one time. So you no need to do you no need to upload the log files into multiple places again and again or anything like that. So you can do it one shot, only one time loading. That data can be used in several different ways. Scales from desktop to enterprise. So this is so this is not only for the just for very small companies, only for only couple of application, or this tool is suitable for only very small applications, very small companies, not like that. So very if you have very complex data center, so terabytes of data the logs are generating, no problem. So the Splunk can handle. So that's what very huge amount of volume also this tool can it's very fast, it will process and produce the results very fast. Terabytes of, imagine the terabytes of data. So we handle actually in our organization also almost 500 GB of data, one of the index and all per day we are using it. So those kind of things. So data size is not a matter. So basically again this how would customers solve the challenges? So reduce stress, sprawl, and complexity. So one platform that consumes the data in real time from any source and transform into the information, so knowledge and ultimate wisdom. So this is what so any the data can be coming from many places. So your so internet all internet devices or any other machine data, other things. So any you name anything in your gaming console or whatever. So any data, if you have the data coming from any kind of resource, so only it's one place to store in this one. Agile and flexible. Ability to quickly define any metric, correlate across any data source, and present information in the real time. So again the same kind of point actually. It's very flexible tool, and very so any kind of dashboards or any kind of metrics you can work across, you can make it a real time very quick, and that will be available on real time. Scalable and optimized. One technology that scales to any sized environment with as little infrastructure as possible. Again, the same thing. It's as scalable as possible. Raw data history. Access to long-term historical raw data for machine learning and capacity optimization. So for that, like if you want to forecast something, so you want to like forecasting and capacity planning, anything you're doing. So we have a so raw data history, like you define the system, how much time do you want to keep the log data in your Splunk for search. So you want to keep the data retention policy, we can mention. As per the retention policy, like you want to keep the data like searchable for some duration, or you want to put it as a put it into cheaper storage. You want to put it into cheaper storage for any other archival purpose. You want to keep it again. You want to restore and bring back. So anything is possible. So raw data history, like any time of history, you can do that. So increased uptime. So what is the like why enterprise use Splunk for IT operations? Some of the like we already know this is the sum of the purpose, like increased uptime, reduced MTTR, drives innovation with usage of analytics and product features, like innovated way we can handle the errors, improved margins by protecting millions in ad revenue, optimized capacity by saving 500k in so each this is for like company wise what they so they have given their points actually. So and safe way consolidated tools by retiring 27 monitoring solutions. So they have multiple tools, but finally they come up with this only one tool that solve the major monitoring issues. This is one of the companies like their whatever their feedback kind of thing. So do you guys want to go for some small demo or something? You want to continue in this one? So again, it's going to be the same thing. Okay, I think only one couple of slides we can go for the demo.
No, continue. I think it's a good info.
Sure. Okay. So only couple of more slides only. So in IT service, like so we everything is measured by in IT service how this Splunk is going to help us. So basically in IT service, like so everything measured by the KPIs. So key performance indicators. Key performance indicators basically number of records, how many number of records are coming, what is the error rate, average response time, service CPU load, server network input, like input and input and output errors. So whatever like these are the some of the key performance indicators in any industry if you go. So these are the things will be there. So they want to measure the company's performance based on or applications performance, basically applications performance based on these are some of the factors. So this is like core things. So how this is going to help this on like so achieve service visibility faster. So these to maintain these kind of things, we need something like a service analyzer. So high level view of like services and composite health scores. So we need some of the these are the some of the things like to manage the train performance indicators. These are the things required actually. Glass tables, personalized visualizations of your services. So every team needs different kind of visualization. So I am the support team. So myself, I am looking at only the server performance. Server, how many like how much CPU time and how it is behaving, when it is getting peak, when it is going low, those kind of things. But other team is like application team, they want to see so how many errors are happening, what is the response time, and how many successful logins, how many failures, why the failure. Then they will analyze failures, how many failures, how many success, how much people are like session, how the users are, how long they are staying in the session, particular session once they log in, how long they are in the website. So they want to maintain like application time. So management side, they want to see so how the products are like getting, how many products are getting viewed by the users, how many users are logging in, which area they are logging in, which place exactly, which location from they are logging in, and which product is like top 10 products they want to see, sell top 10 selling products they want to see, and many things like, so how many success, how many failures, so those kind of analysis management. So everything like every personalized visualization, that is very important, and that is possible using this particular tool. And deep dives like organized view of performance indicators across silos. So basically like performance indicators, like basically the performance indicators, like every team having some performance kind of things, they can put that one in that one to monitor that. KPI alerts, correlation rules to generate the notable events. So notable events means like basically like to manage like alerts can be set it up for according to our team's requirement. We can set it up our alerts, so that can be monitored, and we can like proactively we can like fix the issues, become like to avoid become very big issues later point of time. Notable events, easy to understand, report on results of correlation searches. And next one is the anomaly detection adaptive thresholds. So machine learning to baseline normal operations and identify anomalous behavior. Basically there's like this basically to analyze the log file as a over a part of history, like over a period of time. If you analyze that one, so we can find the anomalies, like any kind of attacks we are getting, so any kind of like interruptions we are getting, so anything, any unwanted things are happening in the system, anything can be very very visible. We can see anomaly detections is possible by using the like because the history of data we are going to browse through the dashboard or anything like that, so that is possible. So we'll go with some quicker demo. So how this is going to, how the tool looks like, and just I will show you like a couple of screens or something. Then I'll take up your questions. Then finally, after your questions, then I'll go through the training material or training objectives. So you guys can ask the questions, any questions. Finally, we can finish the call. So here, like I'm using the here I'm using like Google Cloud. So in that one, like I have created a couple of virtual machines. In one of the virtual machines, I have hello. Okay. So virtual machine. So I have installed the Splunk actually. Splunk Enterprise I have installed. So it's currently running in this Splunk main. And let me open that one. Okay, so this is a basic screen actually you'll be looking at when you're logging in. So there is a this is a couple of apps like already I have installed. Actually, search is the this is a default. We'll be getting search and reporting is the one main app. So TMDB database or something like I have created, and some of the things like here you can see like you can add the data, and Splunk apps, Splunk documents. Splunk apps is nothing but like it's predefined. Some of the apps like developed by various companies, like Splunk is generated like they created several applications, and like that like other companies also they have created their own applications. They are pre-built dashboards. They are pre-built dashboard for Unix system. Okay, you do not have any time to create a visual dashboards or something. You can just create this app. You can go to and like maybe like I'll try to open it and see. For example, IT operation. If I go for if I go with like apps created by Splunk, if I check, sorry. So these are like you can see like some of the apps created by the Splunk actually, Splunk Stream. So various like depends on your industry. You can choose the predefined app and you can install it on the server, like your server you can install it. So Splunk app for infrastructure, Windows, Splunk app for Zoom. So like normally like we go for like Unix also, like suppose Unix you want something, Splunk add-on for Unix and Linux. So whenever like Unix, Linux servers, we usually like install this app. So this will come with like some pre-built information. So pre-built dashboard screens. So you no need initially like you can utilize it, and you should be very careful. Like only like approved companies, like there are Splunk. We can trust this particular app. Sorry guys, 1 second. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. So Splunk, like some companies like Splunk, we can trust these applications, but some other like like unknown companies also, their own like they put some applications as well. So you have to make sure the application created by whom, and you have to install in your system, because the results like we cannot trust the results with the like unknown companies or their own dashboards, but we cannot trust the results. But if it is Splunk and other genuine companies, definitely we can trust the results coming from that whatever the applications. So this is nothing but there are some pre-built dashboards. Okay, so this is the one. So like that, like Splunk documentation. So here in the top, we can see like some of the settings. So here there are like various options here, like setting up the whatever like server settings. You can do creating the indexes and creating the users, defining the roles, users, tokens. So anything like, for example, so I am going and creating a so user. So here using this one, you can create a new user. So like this, you can come down if you see. So okay, maybe what happens is like so I got like my trial license was expired, I think. So that's why like it's not, I'm not allowed to create now authorization. Something is missing. Seems like authorization is missing. So so this is one of the thing actually. So new user creation. So like that, like we have like various options we have present here. So now I'll try to load the data, and these are some of the things. Definitely we can look it up later, but I will show you like how the log file looks like and how we are able to load it. So this is like one of the log file. If you see here, this is access information on like particular site, websites, couple of websites, access information for 30 days access information. You can see. So this is one of the log file. From basically by seeing that, so you can very rarely you can like come across like what are the things are coming in like it's like very, you can see very machine readable. It's almost like it's readable, but by this log like it's very difficult to understand what's going on in the system. So now I'll try to load and see. So now I'm manually adding the data. So everything, these things and all like automated way that we can like we'll be like in the course we'll be covering that one. So forwarding like automatically forwarding these log information into the system automatic way, but this is like manually we are just for the demo purpose we are doing, showing you. So access 30-day log. So now you see here, So we have loaded like this is the data. So this is the data, and after loading, so you will be seeing. So this is the initial part. So now you see here. So it is filtered based on the some particular date and all it's getting. So it's automatically taking like a one kind of source type. So access combined, because this is the access information it's this data is containing. So this Splunk is intelligent enough. It's taking like automatically it's taking this as a source type as a access combined with cookie something. There are several source types are there. Each and application, every applications you will be having different kind of. So you can choose what kind of, when you are setting up the system, you can choose it like is it like application means what kind of application, what kind of data is coming in, and database. So what kind of database you are using depends on that you can use it. So anything like depends on like metrics, email data you want to metrics, data warehousing kind of, if you want to data warehousing, data logs if you want to store that. So metrics things, those kind of things also you can load it actually. So CSV files. So various options are there. So suppose there is no options are there, you can create your own source type. If you want to create, you can it can be created. So then I'm going to the next one. So this is the panel, like you have to give the, so which index and all you have to, which index is going to we have to go or something. So index is nothing but it is a storage point for the Splunk. So the data is getting processed and it will be stored in the index. So then once the index is once the data is indexed, then we can search for that, like we can do the search. So we can review. So this is what like so this is, and once I submit, this will be there. So already I have this data stored in the system. So just I will go and browse it. I do not want to make it as a duplicate data. So I'll just go back to the system. So this is the basic search panel actually. This is a basic search panel. You can play with the log. Once the data is getting loaded into the system, then you can play with the log. So here, time frame. Basically, what time period you want to search with the data, like real time you want to see. So till 30-second window. So if you select that one, minimum 30-second window, little like the data like up to 30-second, like just the data you got it. So then you can immediately you can see it here. So then all the like every day like various window levels we have relatively, and finally like I always like this data is almost a couple of months old I think. So that's why I'm just using the all time. And here if you see the data summary, this will give you the idea where the data is coming from, which host. These are the main couple of forwarder, like forwarder is the one forwarding the logs from your application into the Splunk. So where and all it's getting forwarding. So where from which system, like which host and all. Maybe you will be having hundreds or thousands of hosts will be there actually. So in my current system and all, we are handling around 600 servers. So we can see like a bunch of like 600 names will be here. And apart from that, this is a, like if you are manually we are adding the data, this is the kind of like manually we are adding, or these are the files basically, like these are the host, and these are the like one is like whatever manually we are adding, or where we are where exactly the data is coming from. You can see here var log apt history log, that is another one log is coming from there. And var log, multiple logs, var log, because this particular folder is monitored. So you can see where under where log is monitored. So you can see various number of logs are automatically forwarding from the forwarder. Actually, it was forwarded earlier. It is forwarded. So this is like this is another way we can see. So what logs like you can see definitely you can see like what are the things are getting monitored and where the data is coming from. Source type is this is one. So what kind of source types and all you are using? It is database related thing, or is it application like access related, or email related, or metrics related? So anything, so any kind of source types you can filter with this one actually. The source type is selecting the source type, right? Source type is very important, because some of the source types having inbuilt filtrations, inbuilt transformations. So the Splunk will do. So that will give you the more insight on the data automatically. It will provide you. For example, So we have already access 30-day we have loaded, right? So that source is, suppose I'm loading it, access 30-day log, I'm browsing it. Yeah. So this is what happens when you see this is after like selecting, processing, loaded into the system. I am searching the log. The log entries you can see is like this. So from here, interesting fields. It filtered. It read the log and it given many things. Actually, you can see the interesting fields. It filtered. It filtered the log and created many multiple fields. You see action. You see action. What are the actions are happened? Purchase, adding to cart, view, change quantity, remove. So these many people. These are the activities happened actually. You can see it here. Purchasing was done. Add to cart, how many counts, how many of these many purchases done, and add to cart, how many items are getting added, and view, change quantity, remove. So this is one of the things. How many? What is the percentage level? Like this, you can see category. So these are like simulation, like these are like some gaming, sports things and all. So what category people are like buying the things? Arcade games they are buying, or shooting games they are buying, simulation games, sports games. So what kind of strategy games? So this is another thing. So by seeing this is like what do you guys think, like by seeing this kind of log? Now after just time do I did the process, just selecting the source type and just I process the log. Now I am able to see some kind of insights of the log, what's happening in my system. I didn't do anything. So I didn't do any extra coding or anything. I haven't done any extra coding or anything. It automatically filtering the data and giving me these kind of insights. So client IPs, where from where these IPs are coming from, like what are from where IPs the people accessed. So this is like here we are seeing only the top 10 values, or we are seeing here, but date, hour, details. So everything. So everything is filtered, date, hour, month, everything like. So sessions, how many sessions, everything like we are able to see it here. Still, if you want to filter out, okay, I want to see some more like I want to see only particular fields only. I do not want to see. So before that, before going into this one, I can show you this one. So we can expand this particular event. So this is like each and every activity, like each line will be converted. Each line will be converted into a event actually. Event is like Splunk will do convert into the event, and it will go stored in the system. So each line, like you will be getting these multiple things, like each line you will be having these values. Everything, what kind of records, these are the fields. It will automatically filtering, and it will give you the enough fields, enough information. With that one, like you can do your search and you can filter out the things. For example, like I want to see the product ID, product sold, product sold. I think we do not have that particular field. Just you want to see, okay, I want to see what products and date, month and all I want to see. You can take the naming convention, you can take anything. So like this, like other than, so tabular format you can see. So once the tabular format is generated, so you want to visualize or something, you can do it in the here. It's not that data is not sufficient to show you. I can show you. I have predefined some of the commands for you. So this is basically like chart feature. So we can do like various kind of charts we can create. So this is a patterns. This statistics is like statistics of values. You can see web application. So what I am doing is like I am evaluating the count value. I am evaluating the how many counts for the get counts. I am taking it as well as I am displaying the post counts. This is one of the just an example. So how many gets and how many post I am getting it. So if I want to take it the visualization, so just it's like we can choose various kind of chart available, readily available. You can just select it and you can see it like proper thing like bar chart, so column chart and bar chart. So anything like anything if you want to see, you can go over it. You can, it will give you the enough values. Okay, so what kind of values you'll get, you can in between whatever the like if you mouse roll over the mouse, so then you will get that one. Roll over the mouse, like you will get the some of the things. I will run you like couple of other things. We'll see. This is one thing is like so they want like a client. So transaction is one another one command like action is purchase. So we have chosen the purchase. How many people like the purchase? Who people are purchasing? I am seeing like a client IP. I am taking like I am saying the client IP and how much time, like maximum span of the one client IP, maximum span of 30 minutes, 30 minutes of one client IP, and what is the average counts? What is the average counts? I want to see like in the 30 minutes duration. So average counts like I want to see like how the IP is doing it. Each IP client IP is from client IP. So I want to make this is one of the just some sample one with available data. Just I'm coming up with. Okay, so average like averagely like how much like if you see here this particular one in each and everything like one by one like is one of the some sample one you can generate. You no need to worry of much like by using commands and giving the right parameters. You can generate the right values. Another one. Basically like this statistics sorry visualization, we can go with some different visualization. If you go so like this look, so anything like if you want, this is like basically it's showing like for categories, each categories and what kind of like accessories or what kind of categories, how much people are count by each category. Basically like each accessories category 64 and use null is equal to false. So without null, without only the valid categories, how much, what is the count, total count. And if you see the bar chart something, if you see the bar chart, it's a pie chart, we can go over it. So basically like so each and like different format, if you want to see anything you can find out. Next one thing I can chart product. I'm just going to generate a chart like product views purchase for a single day. Like this one thing. So single day. So what kind of purchases are happening? Like so this is also again the similarly like whatever each one like what kind of single day, how much, what is the patterns and all like anything we can see it. You can see here. Actually like here we can see here people are just browsing here for this much time or something, but viewing, just viewing the product, but actual purchases only this much purchase only. This chart is much clear. This area chart is much clear actually. So people are viewing only for like this much time. People are going and viewing this much high, very high, but actual purchases you can see less than 50 or something, like less than 50, very less number of purchases are happening. So this way, like we can easily identify like people are like just browsing for more time, but not buying actually, but some purchases were happened. So like this, we can like so if you want to add some field to the search, just you can do like some like anything you can do with product ID, and just I want to see this particular product ID. You can just click on that. It will add that product ID, and what we and only the logs log entries having with this only product ID that will be displayed here. And here also like we can zoom around, like this is like so many pages this output is going on. Okay, but if you want to drag like particular time event you want to zoom, okay, you can zoom it and see that only that particular event. If you want to see that, only that event only will be visible. So you can drag it to the particular event. You can zoom it actually, that particular day or time I want to see. You can zoom it and see that one. So like that, like various features. If you want to add multiple fields to the these selected fields are there, you can add multiple fields. I want to add like client IP also to the field, so we can add it. So more flexible thing. So this is what like so in that earlier one, I have shown you this purchase thing, right? So I want to show you this one like so two ways, like couple of things we can do in this one. So save as report. So you want to generate this purchase report. We viewing and purchase report, you want to see it. So you can save it as a report and share it to the customer. Whoever is required, you can share it. One option is there. Another option, so you have to write a, like if you want to make it as a dashboard panel, just click on the dashboard thing. You can whatever the name, type it. Test dashboard. Shared in app. This is so you can just view it in the dashboard. But this is we do not want to see it as a graph, right? This is what we do not want to see it as a, we want to see it as a, we want to see it as a not only report in that one. I want to see it in the visualization. So I want to save it as a dashboard panel. Sorry. I'll just edit and remove. So this is a dashboard. So like this, like if you create multiple various ways, so one by one we can create and we can just add it. For example, like we have another query, right? So these are the some sample ones, real examples, like we'll provide you later. This visualization. So like this, like you can add multiple panels. So each one works with a different query. So that will be like so every panel, like you can see the details also. 1 minute ago, this is created. So you can do the refresh if you want. You can do the refresh so that a real-time data. This also we can automate. So every 1 minute auto refresh automatically. Every 2 minutes refresh automatically. Depends on your requirement. You can so multiple, like in our industry. So we keep around 6 or 7 panels like this. So that will be giving you the real-time insight. Like every panel will be having separate one: failures, purchases, successful sign-on, or anything like that, any other activities. So anything. So multiple. So wherever like people are coming in, immediately they can see, okay, oh, this is what happening. Okay, revenue, whatever revenue, this many purchases, everything, the total value, according to your need, we can generate as it is. Okay, so any questions, guys? So then once we're after questions, maybe I'll go through our course syllabus. Any questions on that one demo? So I'll conclude my demo with this one. You guys just any question, just let me know. Hello, Pavan. You were asking some questions earlier, right?
Yeah. No, I got the answer while going through it. I can compare how it is differentiated with what we are using. I found three key things with the Splunk what it is giving. One is it is coming up with no database. Okay.
Yeah.
It is using its own DB system, so that is cutting off one more failure point. So second thing is indexing. With the
Yes.
current system, to mine the logs, sometimes like GB type of log, it takes a lot of time to go over, and no more grepping. Sometimes we incline to the file system and pull the data. Like we have the situations now. That's why we incline to go to the Kibana. But Kibana, its backend system is Oracle database.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
now it is eliminating the database and indexing. The another part I like is live data streaming. That is most efficient. I don't think Kibana or HP monitoring systems I think they do not have that capability. And
Okay.
another point is like it is virtually you can load any type of data. There is no type of data restriction for Splunk, but I believe for these systems they have some kind of limitation on the file formats. That's what my understanding. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it comes up with its own set of additional capabilities. So the powerful point is indexing. That is the key thing for your data search, right? I think probably it is using the underlying disk partitioning system on its own with the algorithms which are already built.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's where it is coming up and partitioning the data and pushing the data into corresponding partition. So that way
Yes,
you
yes.
can pull the data right away. That's what my understanding.
Yeah. So this is like a major advantage. Like you do not need any separate database and admins for that to like performance thing and all. Like it's automatically taken care. Very little bit
Yep.
we have to do some kind of little bit server configuration files things, but other
Yep.
than that, like there is much needed. And thanks for sharing the points, because I didn't get a chance to work on other tools what you mentioned, but I know
Yeah.
like Log4 is one of the competitor, and another one tool like Dynatrace, another one is a Dynatrace is there, but that is completely different. That is, we cannot like, that is also coming up actually, but that is more on like application level monitoring or application tracing actually. Basically like that will drill down into for errors are happening when transaction error is happening. So that transaction, like you can drill down, you can see where exactly that is happened, or where which way exact code.
Hello.
Code level, it will go and give you the result. But this tool will not. This purpose, like purpose of this tool is not that one. This is fully on the log monitoring and analyzing tool. So fully it will like give you, okay, error is coming. This is error, and this one. It will not give you like this one. So that is another tool actually. I am aware little bit of that one, Dynatrace actually, but that is more on application side. But thanks for sharing the good points. And
Does it do any like system help?
any other questions before moving into?
Does it do any system health check?
Uh,
It provides system
I'm
health
not
check,
getting your question. Sorry, can you repeat?
like CPU
System
or
health.
system health check. Like, is it overused?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
So that also like whatever the log you are supplying, right? So anything it requires the log actually. So here like I have shown you the access related thing. So if you push the data like log whatever like CPU information like that metrics information, you can definitely that log will be there. Yes, memory usage, CPU thing.
No, no,
So
direct monitoring. No, 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 I'm talking the direct one, not the log, like direct monitoring. Like there are some
direct
of the tools, they monitor the CPU usage right away. I forgot the tool we are using. It monitors the system health check on the spot, and it provides the alerts. Hey, on this machine, the CPU usage is high, the disk usage is high, the CPU cycles are high.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, 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 yeah. That's correct. That's right. Everything. Yeah, everything is particular. Like yeah, everything like we can set it up with that on wherever somewhere that matrix will be written, right? So we can
okay.
configure, and that also can be configured. Yes, that is also yes,
Oh,
definitely
okay.
CPU
Okay.
cycle. So that's what. If you
Okay.
want server related, machine related information, that we can set it up. So each team like they can set it up whichever. Like database, you are database person. I'm only related with the SQL errors or something. That one thing we can set it up with that one, and the
Yeah.
management needs something, management needs for the sales information, so that information. So anything, yes, that is, yeah, CPU monitoring, everything, anything can be done. Yes, that is possible. Yes,
Okay. Okay. That's
definitely.
good.
And yeah, and another thing is like Splunk is like it's earlier it started 2006 and getting very familiar, and nowadays like in the market actually I can tell you guys like really there are no people available in the market. Splunk people very very rare actually. And this is really like if you're in abroad or something, I think they definitely like it's a very good billing rate. That's what I heard. In India also, like it's now not many roles are not coming now actually, like I don't know, but roles are there, but very that also like very they are not able to find the organizations. They are getting the projects, but they are not able to find the right Splunk people actually. Splunk development admin people, they are not able to find it. And I'm seeing very good demand for this one Splunk, right, line in the industry currently. These two is
Yeah,
very very important.
that's true. I mean, it's now evolving, and many companies they are inclining towards the Splunk. Even I see, um, I work in IRS. We started 10 years back. We never heard about it. Now
Yes.
they are getting into the Splunk environment, so they're talking about it. And there is another company, it's a Navy Systems in Baltimore area. Even those people also they are looking for it. So I think it is evolving now.
Now evolving, and more customers are going through because already they proven to many big companies. So already I think that's why like they are getting more business now. And Splunk's performance like really like very very shortage of people. And if you're a Splunk entry level or it's a higher level, like definitely like there is a very good chance of getting higher billing rate and or a higher salary package actually. So very good
Yep.
chance. And just want to tell you guys like, because in India like they are not able to find people. Even like in our company also, it's very difficult to find guys actually. So we have openings, but we are not able to fulfill actually. And next thing is like just I'll go through quickly this one. So just wrap up this. What are the topics we are going to cover in our course actually?
Hey, Santosh here. One quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so is there any prerequisites we need to know before we get into Spark? Like any language we need to learn or any other prerequisites?
No prerequisite, required. So because this Cori language is called Splunk processing language, SPL. So that will be going through that. So that only you are going to like, so basic, like if you have basic SQL knowledge, kind of select star from some particular table, something like basic Cori knowledge like that. Also like if you have, you must be having that kind of knowledge. If you're in the IT industry, that knowledge will be there. Basic querying some database, right? So that concepts will be here also. We'll be using like some average, minimum, maximum, group by, that kind of things only. So if you are already aware, that will be, you can correlate and you can learn. Otherwise it will be like you can learn it directly. this query language, this processing language. Here, instead of structured query language, we call it as a Splunk processing language. So it is similar to the, so what I have shown there, right? So the same thing, like you can put your commands like queries, like they're only like some commands you will be using like this. So there is no exactly prerequisite required.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You can directly jump in. Yeah.
Thank you. And the reason why I ask is like when I look for Splunk job opportunities online, so they do saying like they also looking for Python, any other languages which are like they're saying like knowledge of in these like Python is an added
Yeah.
advantage. So why is that
Added
used here? Like
yeah, Python, I think you can use the Python also in the such languages there, right? If you know like that,
okay,
you can write the scripts and all Python language. Also, people write the scripts and do that. So advanced one, if you want more development, means like that is an add-on only. Yeah, Python, if you learn like, but I know people they don't know Python, but definitely like that is not a mandatory skill. But Python, if you know, that's all. Like you can utilize it actually. That's all.
okay, that search
Our
area
course,
wherever you given that commands, so that area if we give Python commands, even that would be
Python commands or
recognized
some
here.
programs you have to like that program you can write, and with that you can access that one instead of coming to that panel and we are putting right the similar
Oh,
commands you can write and you can access it. Python queries, Python
oh, okay,
Python programs. Yeah, via programs you can access this one.
okay,
Generate this whatever the reports you can generate for report generation purpose you can use it.
okay. So is that the only advantage of learning having Python with Splunk?
That's what Python is based. Commonly it's used, right? Python is used for
That's
many
right.
places. It's getting used. So here is another one place like Python is like anywhere you can take like Python is getting used. I think nowadays like in
Yeah, that's
machine
that's what trying
if
to.
you go. But this is like Splunk with basic Python knowledge is there means good actually. But here our course we don't touch any Python or anything. So just directly whatever this thing only we'll go through actually.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm just trying to understand. Is that the only area where you written that commands, right? So that's where, or the one you said you can write a script and then
Yeah.
call the script. Is
Programmatically, you
that
can like access this thing, right? You can execute, you can access the Splunk and execute those commands. So then you will generate the reports and send it to them instead of that one. So that is a
okay?
requirement of doing that one. So
Okay,
Python is advantageous, but I don't think it's not a mandatory skill. If it's not prerequisite, also not needed.
got it, got it.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. So I have divided this course actually into the two sections basically like one is the fundamental kind of things, fundamentals, and the next one is the like or fundamental, or I can say a little bit like development kind of thing, and next one is the one like so section 2 is like mostly like administrating kind of things, and you guys like Santosh, you asked right. So one more, this one is regex. Regex is we use in this one. Mostly we use the regex commands. So that also I have included in this course actually. Regex filtering this one log and all like filtering will be much faster and quicker. We can do many combinations. We can filter the things. Basically, like we are having the log. Our aim is to filter according to our needs, right? So we'll be using the filtering like. Regex is the another one language we use actually. So that one we mostly use. So I'll be covering that one also in this course
Great,
actually, regex programming,
great.
not
Thanks.
the Python one, but regex will be used using more in this one. So I'm covering that one. It will be
Great.
like a little bit complex one. Regex is that one thing. Okay, so
Got it.
I have split into the I have split in the course into the two sections. One is the one like fundamental things you can see like Splunk fundamental architecture and how the indexes to be created, what kind of indexes, how to create the roles and users roles, responsibilities, how to assign that one, and finally is the Splunk forwarder. The Splunk forwarder is the one forwarding the log file into our indexer, basically our indexer. So this is a small thin client actually. So the agent, we can kill a thin agent or thin agent will be running in our system. So wherever you want to pull up the logs, you have to this agent should be running in your system. So this is the one will be running continuously, pulling the data and sending to the real time. It will send the data to you. And next one is the advanced one. Single instance will be initially we'll talk with the single instance. Then we'll go with the multiple distributed architecture. So distributed Splunk architecture, how that is like will all everything like indexer will be the one instant into multiple clustering. Index clustering will be there, and search head is a one we will be doing the search actually. That is a clustering search, such clustering, and how the data model for the dashboard creations and all we'll be using some of the data models actually. So how to create those one for that dashboard purpose. And finally, like initially there in the fundamentals also will be covering the configuration files. So here you will be using the extended use of the configuration files. Here what we'll do is configuration files, we do the transformation of the data using the regex. Basically using the regex, we'll be doing the like transforming the data using the regex one, and we'll be like going through how to do that. So those is the extended one, and finally is the regex one I told, right? So that will be included. So this is the detailed one. You can see like fundamentals, what are the things will be covered. So introduction, so installation, importing the data. I told you about the search processing language, SPL, and search assistant. So a couple of topics like how to do that. Splunk add-on for the AWS, for Splunk app for AWS. So these kind of some of the things, how to do that. Then the architecture side, what we are the things like here we'll be seeing like architecture means directory structures, where the configuration files are getting stored, and how and what are the important configuration files. So what are the things like and one important tool we'll be using here, btool. Btool is the one which can be useful for the understanding the configuration parameters to make the debug or anything. So we need the btool. So that tool will be, I'll be going through the btool, how to use that tool to debug our configurations. Basically next is the index. So indexes, like we have seen like adding the data and putting into the indexer, and it will store in the buckets, index buckets. So we'll see like what are the indexes and bucket life cycle. So initially like buckets will be like how long you want, basically like retention period, data retention period. How much time do you want to, like how much data, how many days or weeks, how do you want to keep the data? So you want to keep all the data active all the time, or you want to data to be removed particular after particular time, something. So where do you want to keep it? As a more initially it will be in the hot, and if the data will be in the new data will be hot, then later it will be move on to the warm, cold, finally kind of. So same process are there. So we'll go through like what basis it is, we can move the data. So those kind of things will be there. And fish bucket is another one process actually. So another one indexing another indexer. So we'll be covering those things. What is the purpose of that one? Those things. Then so here there's a one like user roles and security, basically like users access control, how to give various kind of authorities like admin role, whatever role if you want to power user role, admin role. So basically like various kind of things, how to assign that, how to modify that. So this is the one like I will little bit I was telling you guys. So Splunk forwarder, basically like universal forwarder. This is the one which will be running in your system like application servers. So that like it will lead that forwarder should be having access to your log folders, basically log folders. So wherever like it should have access the log folders, so that like it will grab the logs, required logs. It will monitor and grab the logs and send it to the indexer for analysis. And there are like universal forwarder, there is a one more type also there. It's a heavy forwarder, so we'll be covering that as well. So universal forwarder and heavy forwarder concepts, and how practically how that one. So everything will be demo also will be there. So section 2, like distributed. So distributed architecture, like so how like licenses. So here I didn't talk about the licenses, how the data is what basis like with the licenses can be acquired, like in our Splunk side, like the licenses for like acquired per day, per like data size, actually data volume. So you have to acquire licenses like if you are consuming 5 GB of data, then you have to buy the 5 GB license actually. So that is for per day 5 GB, you can utilize that. So like that, whatever your capacity, you need to buy the license accordingly. So we can utilize the license pools also. So we'll be just going through license pools. So we'll be having multiple kind of license types are there. So any licensor, like we can put it in the pool so that like index will be using that. And monitoring console, the Splunk monitoring console. So we'll be having multiple. So you just we have put our data in one index actually. So there will be in our organizations or corporates, we'll be having hundreds of indexes. Hundreds of indexers will be like indexes will be there. So everything we need to monitor, some kind of console should be there, like monitoring console for the our purpose, how the indexes perform. For the as admin, I want to see so how our system is running. So indexes, how it is occupied, how it is working. So just to see some any problems, or there any performance issues or something. So we need to understand. So for that, like we should be having one monitoring console actually. So indexer clustering. So initially, basically distributed environment will be having multiple indexer. So that's one, like how to set up the multiple indexers and use that one. So basically like deploying, so master indexer, peer indexer, so replication, failover capability, how we are, so configuration. So everything will be seen. So while doing the demo, you'll be understanding that. Search shared clustering. Search shared clustering is like we have done searches on that panel, right? So we have done the searches on like in that one. So like that, like search will be used by multiple clients. So only like multiple clients are there. Only one search head will not be sufficient. So we'll be having multiple search heads. So that's why cluster of search heads. So that will be there actually. So how to set it up, that one. So that will be covered actually, search head clustering. So basically data model, I was saying like how to create the data model. In that one, using the data model and pivot to create the dashboards. How to create the dashboards using these data models. And I was telling you about this configuration, extended usage of configuration files. So this is like using some of the configuration files. So using regex as well. So we'll be like we will be like filtering and transforming the required data and the required data. Then like we can see the outputs. So these are some of the things we'll be going through, how to do that. So finally, like section like regex will be like, so add on like I'll be going through the, because without regex you will not be much understanding that one. So I'll be finishing the regex, then I'll go through that one. So this will be regex will be covered fully. Okay guys, just it's a quick glance of what are the training topics. So any further questions?
So I have one question.
Yeah.
Does it the Splunk we can run on the Unix, Linux, Windows, or what kind of operating system it requires?
Yeah, Unix, Windows, Mac OS, anything like any all OSs. Unix,
Okay.
Mac, or Unix, Linux, Linux, like whatever. Yeah, Unix, Linux,
Okay.
Windows.
That's where my next question comes. So if it is like because the industry is like Linux based, most of the companies, right? They go with
Yes.
Red Hat Linux is stabilized one. So I mean, it will open the door for again the Linux administration. You need to know the Linux also, right? So is it a required thing for the Splunk, or we don't need?
No need actually. It's a Linux administrator will be separate. Their role will be separate actually. So we'll be running. So our role will be separate actually. So we won't be. So they will be actually this installing the forwarder also. That Linux admins only they will help us actually. So because we won't be having access. So these forwarders, like wherever they want to put it, actually that Linux admin will be, they will be helping and they will be putting the forwarder, And once the forwarder is getting installed, then we have to do our own setup. So once I install, then we have to do our setup. So there is no need for the Linux admin. Only like basic your commands, like some of the commands like directory, go through the directories, copying the directories, and VA editor like VA. So if you want to like configuration files you want to open, so VA, that particular like VA editor commands, some basic commands. So just editing, removing, deleting, modifying. So those kind of commands only required. There is no need for any Linux admin skill is not at all required. Only basic knowledge of moving through the directories, folders, those things, right? So that I think you should be comfortable. Basic Linux commands. So that is sufficient.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
So how long this like training will continue? Means what would be the duration and all?
So the duration will be like it's actually 40 hours. If suppose like 40 hours class actually. So, but if it is required, suppose you guys are looking for, suppose we are not able to complete 40 hours, little bit if he wants to have some other classes, that won't be a problem. There'll be some additional classes, that won't be. But our target is like 40 hours.
Okay.
That is the one. So yeah. Okay. So any further questions? Otherwise, I will close the call. You guys please contact Shiva for any further questions. Then. Any
Hey, thank you. Thanks for the demo, and it's good information about the Splunk. And thank you.
yeah. Thank you for all joining the session. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
You guys
Thank you. Thank
bye.
you, guys.
Bye. Yeah, bye.